Hi, I'm Roger and welcome back to the Tractor Tech channel. Today I'm going to discuss some things that you should check on your tractor to get it ready for winter. The first thing that comes to mind is coolant. You need to check your coolant for the freezing point to be sure that it is suitable for use in your area. Have an antifreeze hydrometer. You only want to remove the radiator cap with a cold engine. You can see mine's checking out nearly 50 below. Really, where I live, you only need about 20 below. And while you're under the hood checking the coolant, now's a good time just to look over the hoses, be sure all the clamps are tight, no visible cracks in the hoses, and then also check the belt and make sure that it is tight. Looks like I'm good to go. Kubota recommends changing your coolant every 2 years. If you have a different brand tractor, consult your owner's manual. The next most important thing to me to check on a tractor, especially a tractor equipped with a diesel engine, is your fuel filter / water separator. So this Kubota BX here has a Raker fuel filter upgrade. It does not have a clear bowl on it, so I'm just going to drain a little bit out and check it. Looks like I have good clean fuel. If you have one of these BX tractors and you have not done the Raker fuel filter upgrade, I highly recommend doing that, because eventually you are going to run into problems with it. No matter how clean your fuel is, no matter how clean your cans are, no matter how well you store it, it's going to happen to you. If you do not do the upgrade, I recommend at least keeping a couple extra filters on hand. So now that we're talking about the fuel system, now is also a good time to talk about the fuel additives. In the past, before I had the Raker fuel filter upgrade, I was running Power Service, this white bottle, and I still had fuel filter issues. I've also read online that a lot of people have had issues with Power Service, like some truckers on some truck forums. So I'm not sure that it's really a good way to go. I personally wouldn't recommend it, and I don't use it anymore. What I do use, but I'm out of right now, is the Stanadine lubricity formula. It's supposed to help with emulsifying the water. Stanadine also makes fuel system components for OE vehicle and tractor manufacturers, so I felt pretty comfortable using it. Whatever fuel system additive you do choose to use, be sure it does not have alcohol in it, because alcohol decreases the lubricity, and that's going to increase the wear on your fuel system components. If you look online for a lubricity test study, there is a Duramax forum with a big test of a bunch of fuel system additives, and there are some winter additives included in that test. It's an old test, but the information is still good, so you can check and see if the additive that you're using decreases the lubricity of your fuel. Also, if you're in question, you can check with your local dealer and see what they recommend. The next thing you should check on your tractor is the condition of your battery. You're going to need a good battery in the wintertime because you're going to be using the glow plugs, which draw a lot of amps. The oil is going to be cold, so it's going to be very thick. The engine's going to turn over harder, so the starter's going to be drawing more amps. So it's going to require a good battery to get your tractor started. If the battery's more than 5 years old, you may want to consider replacing it. Be sure the battery that you replace it with has the same amount of cold cranking amps or more. The easiest and best way you can check your battery at home is with a battery hydrometer. You can't check a maintenance-free battery. That's why I'm showing on this battery outside the Kubota BX, because the BX has a maintenance-free battery in it. What you want to do is pop the caps off. You need to be very careful because this is acid, so you don't want to get it on yourself. You can see that this battery is actually showing 1300 or 1.3, so that cell's good. So if you have a 12 volt battery, you want to check all 6 cells. It's a 6 volt, you only have 3 cells. This is a good way to check a battery though, because you can tell if a cell's starting to get weak or if the tractor's starting really hard now, you may find that you have a dead cell. If you find you have cells that are low, charge the battery up, let it set for about a day for the surface charge to go off, and recheck with the hydrometer. Another way you can check the battery is remove the battery from the tractor and take it to a place that sells batteries. They'll have a battery tester that can check the cranking amps of the battery, so that'll be a good way to detect if your battery is getting weak. Also, keeping your battery hooked up to a maintainer is a good idea. It will help extend the life and make the tractor start easier. Next thing we'll want to check is your fluids. We'll start with the engine oil. Be sure that your engine oil is going to be good for the temperatures that your tractor is operating in. It's going to be below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 1540 oil is probably not going to be a good idea to be using. Also, if your tractor sits outside or you've been driving through some little creeks or something, you'll want to check the fluids and be sure they aren't melting. You can see my fluid is clean, clear, so I do not have any water in it. If it's milky looking, you have water, the fluid should be drained and replaced. So if your tractor sits outside or in a building that is unheated and you have access to electric, it's going to be a good idea for you to install a block heater in that tractor. The block heater will help warm the engine up and make the tractor start easier. Since the tractor's starting easier, it's going to be easier on the battery, the starter, and it's going to be better for the engine because the engine's going to be a little bit warm. Most of your engine wear is when the engine is cold. If you're going to be using your tractor in the winter, I'm sure you're going to be plowing snow with it. If you're plowing snow, you're going to be next to the road. So I recommend checking your lights and be sure that they all work, the four ways, tail lights, all that stuff, so that you can be seen. Also, be sure that you have a slow vehicle sign or whatever is required for where you live. You can also get little 12-volt strobe lights that plug into your cigarette lighter that you can stick up on the ROPS so you can be seen better too. The next thing I want to talk about is tire chains. You may have plowed for years and years and years and years and never have needed tire chains. Where I live, it's not uncommon for it to be above freezing for a snow and the ground to not be frozen, and it'll start piling the snow down, and as the snow's coming down it's melting, and then the temperature will drop, so that snow will freeze, so you have a nice thin coat of ice, and then you might get 2, 3, 10, 12 inches of snow, who knows what. So it makes it very slick. Or if you get a storm where you get sleet, freezing rain, and then you get a bunch of snow dumped on you, it's going to make it very hard to push that snow. Tire chains for these little tractors are not very expensive. They're not too expensive for medium-sized compacts. Once you get up into a larger compact or ag tractor, they get pretty expensive. Most subcompact and compact tractors nowadays are equipped with R4 tires, and R4 tires are not very good in the snow. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful in getting your tractor prepped for winter. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this.